Okay, what's up, y'all? So as y'all see, I have my dome cap. I have my, I have my, I don't even know what they're called. You can use T-pins. I think these are like, I can't even think of it, but whatever. Y'all know what they are. And of course I have my closure. And yes, my closure looks rough. Y'all, I tried to bleach it. Let's just say that I used the wrong developer or had it on too long. I don't know. But it won't happen again. But also in this style, you cannot tell that my closure is messed up. So just keep watching. And this hair is from HairEverywhere. It's the 16, 18, 22 bundles body wave. And right here, I'm basically taking that closure and I'm putting this close to the edge of my dome cap as I can. You want to make sure that this don't that your closure is sitting on the wherever your strands begin to grow per se. That's where it needs to sit on your dome cap. You don't want the net or the lace, whatever you want to call it, too far up or too far back, because it's not going to lay right. Because remember, with this dome cap, you will be taking the dome cap and cutting it between what that closure is. And this is a 4x4 closure, again, from HairEverywhere. And if you want to see me unboxing this hair and see how these bundles came and all the goodies about this hair, look in my description bar. There will be information about this hair in my description bar. So here, basically, you're going to need 4 pins, T-pins, whatever it is you're going to hold this hair down, your closure down, so you can begin to sew. Basically, you want to make sure that this first piece is pulled extremely tight as you can, because you don't want this hair to be lumpy at the top, because this will affect your like the rest of your hair, wearing your hair, your unit. This will affect it if this piece isn't tight enough. Trust me, I've had it to where I didn't pull it tight enough and I did have a small lump, but it's okay. You can fix it with a hot comb. But if you don't have a hot comb, just make sure that you're pulling this closure as tight as can be to where no lifting can come through this closure, because this is the foundation for the beginning of your unit. And like I said, you're going to need 4 of those T-pins. I really can't even think of what they're called, y'all. But I'm going to have it in the description. Everything I use will be in the description bar. So here I like to go ahead and braid up my closure. No, I'm not a braider. I just braid this out the way. So therefore, when I am sewing down my closure, the hair is not in the way. And you don't even have to braid it all the way. I just braid it close to the roots so that it's not in the way. Like, whichever easiest way for you to do that, that's what you do. So you're going to make sure that you sew from, it doesn't even matter which way you're going to start at the beginning of at the front of the closure, not the back, because you're going to end up cutting, like I said, you're going to end up cutting the middle. So you will need your needle and thread. I got my needle and thread pack from Sally's. It came with like 4 different needles and that thick piece of thread that I just showed you guys. It came with different type of curves. I like to use the curve, and I usually like to go ahead and thread 2 of the needles, so when it's time, I just pick them up and go. And there's different ways you can start to push it through. As you know, it's a needle, so needle and thread is not easy to put through. You just basically, if you know how to sew, if not, this is not hard. I learned how to sew. I know how to thread the needle and, like, do it and not do it, but I learned how to do it from one of my jobs I had, which is Build-A-Bear. And you can make this thread as long as you need to, because the more thread you have, the less you have to stop and start over. So my thing for you, I would say use more thread and you can just start over, because you don't want to use a slight bit of thread and you're going to keep threading it. So what I like to do at the end, I like to take the end piece, and I like to wrap the end of the thread around that needle like so, just a couple times. This gives it its automatic knot, and you just pull it through completely. If your thread is long, you will have that knotting, whatever. You just keep pulling, and this makes the thread knot at the end, or you can just simply tie a knot at the end. Either way works, and I usually just cut off the excess on the end. So like I said, we're starting on the top of the closure, and at this part, you're going to make sure that you aren't sewing through the band. I say this because once you take it off and you put it on your head, it will fit funny because you're sewn through the elastic and you're not able to pull and stretch to your head size. So I say do not pull through the actual elastic on that front piece. It's hard to say, but once you actually threading, you will see that it's very easy to thread through that piece, because once you do that, it's hard, like I said, your elastic is no longer an elastic because you sewn through it. So here I'm just sewing it through the closure, I'm sorry. And it's really easy. Basically, it's like I said, it's different ways you can sew it. Just making sure that you are still pulling that back of that closure so your lace will lay flat. And I'm saying this because if not, you will have bumps, like I've said before, in your closure. And as you see here, I'm in the middle of it. I'm kind of like making the knot. This makes it tighter to me. And if you want to make it as close as possible while still pulling towards the back of the closure, because this makes the closure super tight. Because if your closure is super tight, honey, it's not going anywhere. You don't have to worry about anything. So that helps you in the long run as well. So it makes your closure last a little bit longer if you take care of good maintenance. So here I'm not sewing in a particular way. I'm just going up. I'm going from the dome cap up and through the lace, and I'm just pulling it through. And you will see, I will show you guys later how I make the mini knots in between like I did before, just to ensure that it's super tight. And it's really an easy process. Like I said, just make sure that you're continue to pull the back of the closure while you're sewing. So you have one hand holding the closure and one hand pulling and holding it, and one hand sewing it. And here I'm just putting a closer view of how I'm doing it. It's really easy, and just see it's super flat and it's super tight. And again, make sure that you don't sew through the band once you start sewing. And you're gonna go from one side to the back, and then from the back to the opposite side and to the front. You're not gonna sew the front piece in the front where the actual lace is. That's what you're not gonna sew. And as you see here, it's super tight. You can tell the way it looks on the dome cap. Ooh, excuse me. That is super tight. And I just go ahead and I try to zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see what I mean by pulling the closure and sewing. As you see, it's still tack, and I'm taking the thumb tack. That's what it is, guys. It's the thumb tack. I'm taking the thumb tack and I'm kind of pulling it back towards where I was standing so that my closure will be tight. Like I said, that's the most important. Like, your bundles can be raggedy, not really. But if your closure isn't tightly sewn, it is possible for it to lump up and be very wavy, and it's not going to be as flat once you are putting on your head. So I'm taking the thumb tack and I'm just basically pulling it towards me because I'm standing behind the closure. So I'm just taking that and allowing it to strengthen the way I'm sewing. And as you see, I remove the thumb tape because I'm getting to that corner piece, and I'm just still sewing it in the same direction, same way. It's no different from what I did before. I'm just pulling it and sewing it. And you guys, it's really not hard to sew. I promise. Like, this, sewing this is very easy. You can practice on different things, but I think, like I said, I worked at a job where I have to sew things, so it's really easy for me to kind of sew and make an invisible sew. And you will see, like, and that is the type of knot that I will be doing from time to time when I'm sewing these bundles. It's like the invisible knots where I'm not physically making a knot. And as you see, I'm still pulling the closure and sewing to ensure that my closure is tightly sewn down, because, honey, once y'all see this end result, you're gonna see that, oh my God, like, this is definitely a look, sis. So being that I started from the front right top of my closure, I'm just taking it back and I'm bringing it all the way back around to the opposite side of the closure. And again, you're gonna end up cutting the front piece of the closure, so you don't have to worry about sewing that hairline down, because that piece is going to, get you popping. So I'm still doing the same technique over and over, and it's just making it easy. So I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and finish watching it, and I'll come back and explain what I'm doing once I get to the other side of the closure, because, like I said, it's the same process from the front back to the side. Okay, and as you see here, the closure is super flat. And again, my knots are definitely raggedy. Don't pay that any attention. That's not the purpose of this video. And as you see that how flat it is, and I have even taken it, you know, off the mannequin head. And the reason why I say my bundles doesn't, the way this closure looks doesn't matter. I'm going to insert a picture. You guys will see that that is not the matter. Like, once I fix it and add my, you can also add foundation. It's different ways you can treat your messed up closure. I promise it's not hard. But as you see, it's super flat and it's super, super laid from the way I was parting it, just showing you guys how it's laid. So now we're going to take our longest bundle, which is our 22-inch bundle. And yes, I did have a different shirt. I was drinking juice and it spilled. Y'all know I'm clumsy. If you didn't, you know now. So now you're going to take your longest length bundle, and that's going to go to the back. And like I said, this is the 22-inch bundle, and I'm actually going to keep the bundles double width. This makes your hair look super duper full, ladies. Okay, you're going to take that, and what I usually do is I go ahead and unravel it, and I take it and I measure from ear to ear, because I'm doing a flip over method. I'm not cutting my wefts. And again, make sure that you have make sure that you aren't threading through the elastic band. So what I usually do before I start sewing it on the mannequin, the dome cap, is I kind of sew it through the ends, the pieces that are the end of the bundle together a few times, so it's easier for me to go ahead and start sewing it onto the dome cap. And again, make sure that you aren't sewing through the dome cap. And as you see, I re-sewn it because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't sewing through the dome cap, because this really affects the way it plays on your head. But as you watch any of my other videos, you know that I will be putting a elastic band on the inside of my unit, just in case of me actually sewing through my dome cap and it's not stretchy anymore. So I will show you guys that later. But again, I'm just taking it the same way I began to sew my closure, and I'm doing the same process. But this time, again, you have two bundles, so you want to make sure that you are paying attention to how you sew, because again, it is two bundles. And as you see, I'm picking up that bottom bundle and I'm pushing up, because often the bundle that is on the inside that you don't usually see may be falling. So you want to go ahead and that you pick it up and ensure that you aren't sewing through the actual band of this dome cap. And I'm actually going to be doing the flip over method. I don't know what happened, but my mannequin head would not stay on my stand. So you're going to see it falling probably in the later part of the video or another video. But when I measured that from my ear to ear, it's just measuring that where the bundles would sit on my hair once I put it on my hair. And that was just from ear to ear. That's just the way I started. Other than that, you're just going to lay it in no particular way. You're just going to flip over, and you're going to see that I will show you guys the flip over method very shortly. And that's the way I'm going to lay my hair from here. Make my unit, I'm sorry. And so as you see here, I'm just taking that and I'm ensuring that I'm not leaving out no bundle, the second bundle. And as you see, I wrapped the thread around that needle. And that is the way you make an invisible knot. So I'm literally just taking that bundle and I'm slightly laying it over. And the way I was doing it also, I was creating more thread and needle. I was sewing more, so therefore when I flipped it over, it wouldn't be an issue of laying flat because it was already sewn. And as you see, I took the actual needle and thread at no particular point of the thread. I wrapped it around my needle to make the invisible knot. So at this point, once I flip it over, I'm not starting over with the new one, and I'm ensuring that it's definitely safety locked, as you can say, to my closure, to my to my bundles and to the dome cap, to ensure that I am getting it flat. And the way you get it flat is you literally just pull it, and you start and you pull it upward and then over to the opposite side of your dome cap. So if that is, you will see it again that I pulled it up and over. So it's laying flat and not being a bumpy piece on the side. You don't want your bundles to be bumpy because that will affect how you have your hair. Rather you put it in a slip, rather you put it in a ponytail or not, that would definitely affect the way the bundles are. And as you see, I'm just taking it and I'm just putting it through. It is so many different ways you can sew, but I'm not sewing it in any random new way. I'm just literally taking it and I'm just putting it through the same way I managed to do my closure. And it's just a closer view here, and as you see, the bundles are laying flat. So again, we're going to go ahead and we're going to prepare ourselves to do the flip over method. As you've seen, the way I did the needle, I literally just wrap. It doesn't even have to be the end of the needle, the end of the thread. You just take it and you just slowly wrapping it around so it comes an invisible knot. And that actually is helpful with this type of flip over method, so you're not, so anything isn't slipping. So I'm just taking it and pulling it up and out in no particular way. And literally that's all we're gonna do to these bundles, and you can do the same to each 3 different bundles. So I'm doing 22 at the back, 20 in the middle, and 18 at the top. So honestly, you're gonna see at the end that the 22 and the 20-inch bundles, I double width it. The 22 and the 18 I double width. The 20 I did not. Don't ask why. I thought it was gonna do something different. It didn't. So as you see here, I'm just at that point I couldn't do the invisible method because it wasn't enough. I have nails. So if you want to, this is the same process. You're just taking it and you're cutting the thread at the end where you looped the needle, if that makes any sense. And you're just making a tie. You can tie it and a knot as many times as you want. I tied a lot of times because I want to secure that my bundles would not slip off this unit at all. And it also happens it happened in the middle of the bundle, and just I went back in. I can't even count how many times I tied this knot, y'all. So it doesn't matter. And you just cut kind of close, but not all the way to the start. And here I am feeding. I've already grabbed my pre-needle that was already threaded, and I'm just going ahead and starting it the same technique as I did before once I started the closure and the first bundle. So what I do is I just take it through, and it already has a knot. Like I said, I taught you guys how to do the knot with the closure, so it already has that knot in it. So you're just going ahead and you're going to go ahead and sew it down. And here, as you see, with being that I started a new bundle and a new thread in the middle of the bundle, I just kind of overlapped that thread from the previous bundle that I had started. So you don't have to start exactly where you ended because it isn't in the middle of a bundle. So I just kind of overlap that sewing so I can, ensure that I was good. So as you see here, I'm still, sewing it more. And you see I'm taking that and I'm going up and I'm wrapping it around my needle. And I'm just pulling it through, and you see I pulled it up and I went all the way over. And I'm taking my thumbtack, and like I said before, you use thumbtack, T-pins. T-pins usually work better with this type of mannequin head, but I didn't have any, so thumbtacks were what I went to. So as you've seen, I took that bundle as I was wrapping it up. If I was wrapping it over, I wrapped it up and then over, so it's actually wrapped up so it can lay flat and over, so it's not a seeping gap between your bundles. And as you see, it's super flat. And I'm ensuring that I'm grabbing that second bundle because these bundles are double width. Being double width is definitely optional. You can do one width at a time. Like I said it before, I've done it. The reason why I've done double widths is so we can ensure that the wig in the unit is super thick. Like, you want to make sure that it's super thick and full. And when it comes to laying this, y'all, I actually should have paid more attention. I kind of made them diagonal, so in a way that my wig didn't look, even, but it was. So as you see, I'm just taking it and just looping it over, and I'm just wrapping that. So as you see, I'm wrapping the thread around the needle a few times, and that creates the invisible knot. So therefore, you're not worrying about making a knot if you don't want to, but also if you don't have enough thread, it's not going to go ahead and thread through. As you see here, I wasn't making long enough thread, clearly, because this is the second time on this same bundle that I've, had to make a new needle and thread. But it's okay. But as you see, again, I tie these knots a million times, y'all. I want to ensure that my bundles aren't going to slip. And also when you're lining up your bundles, as you see, it's a lot of space there, but I'm going to go back and I'm actually going to pull it down lower. As you see, that's the up and over part, to ensure that the flip over method is super sleek. And sometimes it will get caught, as you see, like it is now. That's normal. It's thread. What else do you expect from thread? And you're just going to go ahead and continue. And this is really all I'm doing throughout the whole thing. Even with the single bundles, I'm doing the same thing. It's really easy and simple. This method is no, crazy method of sewing. I'm just going, and also I try to make sure that I'm not going completely through the wefts. That is because if I want to reuse this hair at a different time, like I want to take it off of this wig, I'm not damaging my wefts. Because also if you cut your wefts or sew them through the wefts, it kind of messes up your hair. And if it's good quality hair like this, you don't want to do so. So this is my second bundle of this is the 20-inch bundle, and like I stated before, I'm not double wefting. I did not double weft my 20-inch, but it's okay. It's very optional. You can or you cannot. It's not a big deal. It just, for me, I just wanted to do something different to see the outcome, and it actually was still pretty full, so you don't have to worry about, oh my god, my bottom bundle is full, the rest is not. That's not a thing. So I'm just taking it, and like I said, ensure that you're actually going through the hair and not the wefts, to ensure that, I feel like I just use ensure a lot, but I go through the bundles and not the wefts. And I zoomed up to the next bundle, which the 22. I mean the 20. I'm getting these bundles so confused, y'all. I zoomed up to the 20-inch because it's the same process that I did the closure and the first set of bundles. So here I'm showing you guys how it is once you get closer to your closure. It's really not hard to sew around the closure. You just have to make sure that you're very careful and not sewing that closure, ladies. Please do not sew the closure. You already sewn it down. It's no need to sew it. And here you're just enabling you're just making sure that you are laying it very sleek. And here it is it's a whole finger worth of space, but it's okay. You can go back with that same bundle, and you can, sew another bundle through, because there's enough room. And you see here, being that it is the end of this side, I did the invisible knot, and I'm just going back and I'm flipping it over. It's still the same flip over method still occurs with this same technique at the top of your unit. I'm getting all type of tongue twister, tongue tag, y'all. Please excuse me. So as you see, once I put that one bundle, it's not going to be enough room for another bundle. Oh my god. And I'm still ensuring that I'm grabbing both wefts, both bundles, because this bundle was double weft. And here I'm still doing the same process, no biggie. The same process, making sure that I'm not sewing through that weft. That's just it. I don't know why I got loud. But as you see, it's super flat. Each bundle is flat because I'm pulling it tight enough and I'm not going through the actual wefts. And the only time I usually go through the wefts is at the beginning and the end of the bundle. So that's usually when I go through the wefts. And as you see there, the invisible method still works and you don't have to redo it. And here I had a little hair left over, which I actually cut to fill that space in that void of that little bit of hair of me, just being careless and sewing it different. But it's not a big deal because we can fix it. We have more hair. And again, this hair is from HairEverywhere. You can contact them on Instagram at HairEverywhere. And it is a 16-inch closure with the 18, 20, and 22 body wave. And ladies, make sure that you do like, comment, and subscribe to my channel to see more. And click the link in my description bar to see my unboxing video. And stay tuned for more about this hair. So here I'm just sewing it still, not sewing the closure, not sewing the wefts. And I did the invisible method because I was coming to the end of the bundle. And there I just cut it, and I still end up, knotting it myself, and it's just really easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And yes, it is a little space between that closure and that bundle. It's okay. It's nothing. You're not finna squeeze no bundles. And as you see, it lays super flat. This is what she looks like. You can't even tell that I over bleach my knots because it looks good. I'm probably gonna scoop this over some more. And y'all did change my shirt because y'all know I'm clumsy. I waste some juice on it. But this is the final product of the hair. I did nothing but add water and mousse as you saw. And I'm probably going to do more to this part tomorrow. I have not even customized it. I'm going to do that in the part 2 because I'm tired. It's currently 2 o'clock in the morning. I started at like 10:30, actually putting the bundles in. And I did the closure earlier today. I'm liking this hair. It has a lot of body. Like a lot. And of course I put the seatbelt back there, and I think I'm gonna have to tighten it up. I know I call it a seatbelt, whatever. Probably gonna have to tighten it up because it's not as tight as I want. So I'm probably gonna go back and tighten that so it can lay a little flatter right there. See, like it made a difference just that fast from putting it where it was to on top of my little raggedy bird. So I'm definitely probably gonna go ahead and cut that and redo it. But this is all to it. Like y'all, like I said, this bleaching, you can't even tell I over bleached it, which is I'm very thankful because listen, I definitely over bleached it, and I'm going to customize it in another video. Like I said, I'm tired. I have to work in the morning. And yes, this is my Hair Everywhere. This is my Hair Everywhere bundles. Like I said, it 16-inch closure, 18-22, and I'm going to customize my front. As you know, I'm going to be, if you don't know, I'm not wearing my hair like this. That's why I have not cut the lace or anything for y'all, because I'm not wearing my hair like this. So I'm not even going to play with myself, because but this looks good. Like I feel like I can just put on a little beanie tomorrow. My hair is dirty up under here. I literally just took that puff down and kept it on. But this hair is super full. I don't know if it's because the way I did it. If you watched, I did the bottom layer. I did it 2. I kept the wefts together. And the middle one, I did a single weft. And then the top, I did the bicep. So yeah, this is it. Y'all have a good one, and like I said, I would do a customization in another video. This is that. I'm loving this hair. Okay, I'm probably gonna customize it tomorrow because and I think I am going to actually melt this down, y'all. Y'all know I never melt it down. Since I bleached tonight, so I might as well go ahead and melt her down when it's time. But honey, it's giving me life. So I'll catch y'all in the next video. My lips are crusty. Okay, like I said, it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm doing my hair. So y'all boys have a good one. Thank y'all for watching. I'm probably not gonna be able to keep my hands out of my hair. Yeah, I'm gonna have to tighten up this seatbelt, honey, because yeah, I have to tighten up my seatbelt. And I'm probably gonna do another video of just customizing my closure. Because like I said, I didn't pluck anything. I didn't like no baby hairs. I literally just put it on here, and this is what we got. Because all I did was bleach those knots, and I really thought I over bleached it, but clearly, honey, I did. So yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next video. So this is the next day before I actually customize my entire unit. But as you see, I did go ahead and pluck my part, and y'all, it looks so good. Make sure that y'all like, comment, and subscribe to see how I managed to color my hair. And check out the description bar for information on this hair. Thank you.